Good morning, everybody. As we do the chitas of the day, we're starting on. We're holding in the middle of Pashas Devarim. The book started a new book of Deuteronomy. We're holding on chapter 1, verse number 39. The Moshe Rabbeinu is still talking to them about the Meraglim story, and reminding them the story of the Meraglim, the story of the spies, which brought them to be in the desert for 40 years. And to the children that you said that they're going to be they're going to be levaz, they're going to be for prey. And your children that do not know Tevara, they do not know the whole story, the whole situation, the good and the bad. Hema Yavayu Shama, there they will merit to come to the land of Israel. To them I'm going to give you the land, and then the land, and they will inherit it. And you will have to travel to the desert, Derech Yamsuf, by the way of the Red Sea. And actually, I thought previously to let you pass through the breadth of the land of Edom northward to enter the land, but you have sinned and caused delayed for yourselves. The Rashi is backwards. You got to go backwards and proceed through the desert towards the Red Sea. The desert in which they were traveling was south of Mount Seir. Separating from the Red Sea from Mount Seir, turn to the direction of the sea and go around Mount Seir along the entire southern side of the west, from west to east. Go backwards. You headed in a straight direction. You need to head backwards. Matanu v'taymeru, and you said to me, you answered to me, Eli chatanu l'Hashem, we have sinned. Anachnu na'alev and na'alcham, we'll get up and we'll go out to war. K'chol asher tziva Hashem alei Eloheinu, whatever God has commanded us, we'll go out to war. You change your mind suddenly in a second. You change your mind. And each one gathered, greeted himself with his weapons. He had allowed to harder. You decided to go up the mountain. But God told me, God said to me, tell them not to go. Forget it. Can't. Lost. Don't go out to war. Because I'm not with you in your midst. You should not become struck down before your enemies. The Rashi says there will be no ascent victory for you, but only a descent, a defeat. Verse 43, and I spoke to you, that's shocking. They didn't listen. And you went against the mouth of God, but Zidu, and you acted wickedly, and you went up the mountain. Verse 44, but the Amorites went out. That was sitting in the mountains, they went out. Against you. And they pursued you as the bees do. And they beat you down in Seir as far as Chorma. I said, what? Just as the bees die instantly after stinging a person, they too, the Amorites, upon touching you, died immediately. So you were saved. You were saved, even though they went out to war against you. God had rachmanas on you, chased you back home. So you returned and you wept before the Lord. And God did not hear your voices. He did not listen to you. As if possible to say to God that He made attribute you made His attribute of mercy as though it was cruel. You had the power, so to say, to change God. God should change from mercy. You forced Him. Teisha B'Kodesh Yom Ravim Kayom Asher Yeshaftem. And then we stayed in Kadesh many days as the days that you dwelt. Rashi says, what does that mean? 19 years they stayed there. And it says the days that you dealt in other stations. The total 38 years. 19 of them were spent in Kadesh. And for 19 years, they were continuously wandering about. And they returned to Kadesh. As it says, he made them wander about the desert. Thus I have found in Seder. So they stayed for 19 years. They were in one place. Not like they traveled 38 years every year. For 19 years, they were in one place. Verse 1, chapter 2, verse 1. Then we journeyed through the desert. Derech Yamsuf, into this desert by the way of the Red Sea. Kashadiba Hashem Elai, Vanisa Vesarseir Yonu Ramad, and we circled Mount Seir for many days. She says, we turned and journeyed the desert, had it not been your sin, they were passed by the way of Mount Seir and entered the land from its southern border to its northern end. Because they sinned, it was decreed upon them to remain in the desert. So they turned towards the desert, which was between the Red Sea and the southern side of Mount Seir, and they traveled along its southern side from the west to the east, by the way of the Red Sea, by the route that they used when they went out of Egypt, which is the southwest corner. For there they traveled towards the east, and now basically they went back to the way they came from. On Netzav Arasar Seir, the whole side from the whole south side, as far as the land of Moav. And that completes the Chumash of the day. We now go to the Tanya of the day. Today is the 5th day of Av, and we are holding and the Igeras HaKodesh. We are holding the first letter of the Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe, the first letter. And he just ended yesterday about the power of prayer and how important prayer is for the neshama, for the source of the neshama, because prayer reaches up to Ratzin Elyon. Prayer reaches up to the will of God, which is higher than wisdom, which gives the life, in essence. It gives the capability for wisdom, for faith, and for love and fear of God. So therefore, we should be extremely important the aspect of prayer, that we should have meditation in prayer, and we should pray with intent, belev shalom. We should pray with strong intention and strong feelings. And now the Alter Rebbe continues in the letter he's writing to his Chassidim. He writes, and now once more I put forth my hand a second time with an additional explanation and a twofold request. And propose to all men of the Chassidic brotherhood, those who are near and those that are far, lekayim aleim, to undertake the following, the Alter Rebbe says. Shekol yimei achoil, all the days of the week, businessmen who do not have much time should not step before the ark to lead the congregation in prayer. You shouldn't have a chazan that's going too fast. Only those who have time should lead the prayer. Or the teachers. Or those that are supported in koilel, and they're supported by their parents. Who in the morning service are able to pray at length. That the prayer should be able to go for an hour and a half. That's long. That's like a long an hour and a half. Is that the on a weekday prayer? That's a long time. And from them, from those that have the time to daven for an hour and a half, you should make a goydel, make a lottery, and they should or according to the majority of the congregants that like this one person to daven because he has a beautiful voice. He's a holy man. That he should be the chazan. Yosef Allah b'tzaviv, and should gather around him all those that are supported by their parents. He gathers around them those people, and they daven with them. Everybody davens with them. The Valyishana Nova not. This arrangement should not be changed. I beg and I beseech. Now the Alter Rebbe goes, Shabbos v'yomim tovim. When it comes to Shabbos and the Yontiv, that even businessmen, yesh lem pnai, to have the opportunity to pray. And as I said, that on Shabbos is even a very special time. Shabbos is Tshuva Hilah. We mentioned that in the Geras HaTshuva. They should daven even longer, pray even longer. Even businessmen, when they rush, everybody should pray very long in shul. The kavana, liba, menafshel Hashem, with content, with their soul, with their heart and soul to God. They should not rush to davening. Everybody on Shabbos should daven extremely slow. And even more so. It's their duty is to do so because it's Shabbos and they're not working. The whole week they have to rush to work. On Shabbos, they should actually catch up all the davening that they couldn't daven during the week because they're in a rush. Shabbos, a businessman should even daven longer. As it's brought down in Shulchan Aruch Orach Chaim, as regards to B'Teres Moshe, and as it's written in B'Teres Moshe, 6 days a week you shall work, but the 7th day, Shabbos Hashem Elokecha. The 7th day shall be a Shabbos to God. Daika. Hashem. If you underline Hashem Elokecha, totally to God, holy to God. So Shabbos, as explained over here, unlike the festivals which are partially unto God and partially unto you, so machta b'chagecha, so celebrate, to be happy on the holidays. Shabbos ought to be a holy dedication to spiritual matters. Since the reason for this, it was preceded for 6 mundane days of labor, 6 days as a businessman, you sat and worked. You were busy with work, follows. Those who are engaged in labor during the weekend days, businessmen and the like, should utilize the Shabbos to God. They should be excited and do on Shabbos more than a regular person does. Therefore, even businessmen should go to the ark. Whether it's through a lottery or a majority of people that love them. The Ashkenaz I wrote last year. Moreover, it should be made known that God willing, Hashem, it's my intention. I'm going to tell you, it's my intent that I am going to send out spies to make sure that all the Chabad shuls are following these regulations. I'm going to send undercover guys, later idea, to find out and to notify me about anyone who has the ability and the time to worship at length and to meditate while at prayer, but is slothful. I'm going to find out which chassid is lazy. He can sit and daven. He can daven on Shabbos. He can sit and daven the weekday, but he doesn't want to do that. He's lazy. You need him. I'm going to punish him. That's going to be the punishment, Alter Rebbe says. He's not going to be able to come to Ladi. His punishment will be, he can't come visit me. He'll be punished by estrangement. I'm not gonna allow him to come to visit me. Being distant by both hands when he comes here to hear Chassidic teachings. I'm not gonna allow him. This is a punishment. I find that was tough. And from the negative, you can imagine the positive. If I'm telling you that I'm gonna punish you in the negative, that you're not going to be allowed, I'm going to push you away when you're going to come here. Can you imagine if I find out that you're davening and I'm going to brace you? Yeah. Pleasant be the lot of those who hearken. May the blessing of goodness, light be upon them. Ve'ein tov ela Torah. And there's no good but the learning of. That's the completion upon arrival in Petersburg. That's the completion of the first letter. This is the first letter of the Igeres HaKodesh. I'm sorry, of the Alter Rebbe. I believe the first letter. Good morning, everybody. Today, the Tillim of the day is chapter 29. Today's the 5th day of the month. The Tillim of the day is 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So 29 to 34. And you do the Tillim, Chit Chumash, Tillim, Tanya, and Tillim of the day. Look at that. Today it took us 17 minutes to do the chitas of the day. I wish you all, I see somebody wrote something over here. Agreed. Okay, that's good. I wish you all a wonderful, beautiful day. God bless you, everybody. We'll see you in Mitchem all tomorrow at 8 a.m. for the chitas of the day, and then at 10 a.m. for a beautiful class of the Rebbe in the portion of the week at Chabad. Have a wonderful and beautiful day.